Again, they look to drop it short. Oh! It falls for the second time! Miami put the ball in the back of the net! And it's El Dinosaurio again! Christian McCoon doubles the lead!
Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Miami Total Futbol. We're here at the end of Wednesday night at Drive Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where Inter Miami has snapped its scoreless run and its winless streak in pretty stylish fashion. The team beat Toronto FC to the tune of 3-0 here at home in the first game back at the venue in a month, and it was a pretty convincing win, as convincing as the scoreline indicates. Inter Miami took the lead just 10 minutes in. Federico Higuain scores what proved to be the winner. Later on in the first half, Christian McCoon scores off of a corner kick. Yes, Inter Miami has at long last scored off of a corner kick this season. You heard that correctly. You don't need any Q-tips. And guess what? Inter Miami scored off of another corner kick later on in the game in the 61st minute off of an Eric Zavaleta own goal. At first, it looked like Lewis Morgan might have put the ball into the back of the net, but it was Eric Zavaleta, the Toronto FC defender, and that gave Inter Miami a 3-0 win that not only has brought some confidence back into the group, it's given them a chance in this playoff race. Just when it looked like they might be out of it, or like they were about to be out of it, they are now 6 points shy of the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference with 4 games to go. Now, obviously, the task is still a big one because those teams have the lead, right? They have more points than Inter Miami, so the Inter Miami doesn't control its own destiny. It will need other outside results, but they've given themselves a bigger chance after winning this one today.
We said to them, four more games, 4 more wins. That's all we can ask for. Results, I think, are going for us tonight. You never know what might happen. I've looked at every permutation. We just got to make sure that we go on a run now, and the players are excited for Saturday.
Now let's just jump right into the performance from Inter Miami, because this was the best performance we've seen from Inter Miami in a good long while. Obviously, they got goals, they got the win, but the manner in which they played was also miles better than what we've seen as of late. Now, it has to be noted, we have to take into consideration that this is Toronto FC, one of the worst teams, not only in the Eastern Conference, but in all of MLS this year. And it's no coincidence that Inter Miami's probably previous best game, probably the best game of the season that they had before tonight, was against Toronto FC here at home at Drive Pink Stadium, when Inter Miami won by a 3-1 score on that night, and I believe that was back in August. It was before the All-Star break because Rodolfo Pizarro scored twice in that game. So it's not a coincidence that Inter Miami has looked very good against Toronto FC, but just going to the performance, Inter Miami moved the ball a lot better, and it created better attacking sequences. It generated more danger in the final third. Of course, you have to, again, chalk that up to the opponent that you have in front of you, and obviously Toronto FC is not at a great level this season. But Inter Miami also made some changes. They made some tactical adjustments that we had not seen from the team in quite a long time. Phil Neville moved out of the 5-man defense, out of the 5-3-2 or the 5-2-3 that he's been trotting out for much of the past few months, and he moved into a 4-2-3-1 formation, the same 4-2-3-1 formation we saw during the final 7-8 minutes of the game against the Columbus Crew, the 4-0 loss over the weekend. And that did wonders for Inter Miami because it put players back in positions that are better suited for their strengths, that better play to their strengths. Kelvin Leerdam, who's a fullback, he was playing right back. Lewis Morgan, who has been playing wing back, he was playing on the left wing now, and you saw players just look a lot more comfortable in those positions. And another big move was, or 2 more big moves were, dropping Blaise Matuidi from the lineup, whose defensive awareness, not only against the Columbus Crew, but in other cases this season, in other moments, in other games, has been costly. And having Jay Chapman in there in that first half next to Gregory helped set the tone for Inter Miami as well as putting in Federico Higuain at the 10 to help generate more soccer, more football, and create some things. And obviously he gets a goal in the 10th minute with a nice tidy finish after picking off an errant pass from Toronto FC goalkeeper Alex Bono. Federico Higuain had actually scored in the second minute of the game, but that goal came back. It was a tidy finish, but that goal came back due to an offside call. Nonetheless, this was a much better performance, and it was because of the fact that they went back to the 4-2-3-1. They stopped forcing square pegs into round holes, as I said in the last analysis video after the Columbus Crew game, that they needed to get away from that they needed to stop forcing players out of position like Kelvin Leerdam at center back and Robbie Robinson up top. Robbie Robinson didn't even start in this one, but you get the idea. That was the biggest difference for Inter Miami and a big key for why they won this match.
I suppose to get the players back in their probably number one position. Lewis Morgan, you think about Lewis Morgan, he's had to toil all season. He's had to toil the last 2 months playing wing back, and it just got to the point where I thought he needed a release. He needed a release from that position of the defensive responsibility, the work rate that's required. Kelvin's been playing in the middle of the back three or the right of a back three. I thought it's time to put them in the best positions. We've been covering the holes a little bit, covering up the cracks, and now it's time to put them in the best positions. And I felt that those players, you think about Kelvin's performance tonight, you think about Lewis's performance tonight, you think about they were back to their probably best. They look freer.
Now, if we dive into that and dissect it a little bit more, look no further than Lewis Morgan, because in this game, as he did in those final few minutes against the Columbus Crew, he looked rejuvenated, re-energized, and the player that we saw for much of the 2020 expansion season. Not the player we've seen much of this year that's been playing wing back, right wing back, and has been forced to have more defensive responsibilities. Obviously, when you have that many defensive responsibilities, it takes away from how many actions you can do in the attack. Now, wingbacks in the 5-man backline, not fullbacks. Fullbacks are in a 4-man backline, but wingbacks are still tasked with getting forward. But still, they have defensive responsibilities that they have to be aware of and that they have to take care of. So that obviously limits, again, how much you can put forth in the final third, how many of your actions you can do. So Lewis Morgan has been very limited this season in terms of what he can do in the final third. And in this one, you saw, once he moved back into that winger position, he looked like the same player as last year, that was wreaking havoc, that was confident with the ball, that didn't look like he was maybe a bit uncomfortable or a bit tentative, especially tactically, with his positioning. And it's something he touched on after the game in detail. There were several questions about that, and he touched on just being able to play a position that he feels more comfortable in, which was apparent over the course of the game tonight, at least in my opinion. But he also just looked much more effective and helped generate more danger alongside Federico Higuain and Gonzalo Higuain in the attack.
What you've seen tonight is me playing in a position that I've played basically my whole footballing career. So naturally, I'm going to be more comfortable out there. What you've seen of me this year at right wing back was the first time I've ever been thrown into that and playing there. So there probably was a little bit of learning on the job. And tonight I managed to play in a position where I do feel most free.
Now, as good as things were tonight, there is some bad news, and that's that Leandro Gonzalez-Pires was given a yellow card in the second half, and that means that he will miss out on the weekend game here at DraftKings Stadium against FC Cincinnati. And that obviously hurts Inter Miami because they're pretty depleted at that center back position right now. And it's one of the reasons why Phil Neville has moved back to this 4-2-3-1 formation that we saw earlier in the season, because they just didn't have the natural center backs on the roster to continue to throw out that 5-man backline. So without Leandro Gonzalez-Pires, that puts Inter Miami in a quandary. It's a tough assignment for Phil Neville, because he even mentioned it post-game tonight. Does he go back to 5 at the back and maybe play 2 players that aren't natural center backs there, or he plays players that maybe don't have that much experience at center back? Or does he stick with the 4-man back line? And obviously you have less solidity there than you do when you have 5, but obviously you only then need 1 center back that either lacks experience or that's playing out of position. I imagine that will be the route Phil Neville takes. I imagine to do less tinkering with the team, he sticks with the formation and with the setup, so that you don't have to move so many pieces. It's more of a like-for-like switch, and obviously it's going to be a challenge for Inter Miami if it is Aimé Mabika, because he doesn't have that much experience, and Christian Makoun, who would probably be next to him, is also a pretty young player himself. It's a tall task, it's a tough ask, but that's, you know, the cards you're dealt. That's where the chips are right now. I think that's what Inter Miami will do, but regardless of what they do, it's going to be a tough challenge for the team.
I think we had 15 outfield players, did we, tonight? Yeah, 15 outfield players. So you're then going into the realms of hardship again. So we'll obviously look at that over the next few days.
But that about does it for now. What did you think of Inter Miami's 3-0 win over Toronto FC here at Drive Pink Stadium? Are you still buzzing after the victory? Do you still think that Inter Miami has a realistic chance of making the playoffs, or do you think that mountain is too big of a climb for the team? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know what you thought about the formation, about how Federico Higuain looked, how Kelvin Leerdam and Lewis Morgan looked as well in their more natural spots, and if Inter Miami should try and repeat that on Saturday. We'll be back very soon to continue to recap and analyze this game against Toronto FC, as well as preview the next match against FC Cincinnati. So make sure you stay locked in to Miami Total Football. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We're growing at a rapid rate, and we appreciate all the help you guys have done to help us continue to grow this channel, to provide you more content. So please continue to do so. I am Franco PANIZO. This is Miami Total Football, and we'll see you guys again very, very soon.